So we're here with Angela and Sarah, ICOR members here on your very first deal. So I guess the first thing to say is congratulations. How do you feel?
Feels good.
It feels good. We're excited. We are very excited to be done.
We're ready for our next one. That's how excited we are.
We're already on the hunt for the next deal, and hopefully we'll just keep going.
All right. Well, let's start off with some numbers. One, how did you find the property?
So it was through a wholesaler, and we found it on Investor Lift. So it was, just one of those platforms that you belong to, and then it comes into your email, and you're like, let's go check this out. I think you maybe sent it to me.
Yeah.
Because you live in this area, so it's...
And somehow, I don't know, I'm on their list, and I have been getting on more and more lists, and saw this one come up, and I know the area very well because I used to live in Highlands Ranch, and thought it would be a good one. So we called her, we went and looked at it, and
negotiated. Let me tell you, we negotiated. Here's the way it went. I'm not going to lose this for $5,000, so you need to just give it to me now. This is good. And here's the thing: we liked these guys, and they knew it was our first flip. They were like, "This is an easy one, cosmetic flip for you. It'd be a perfect first starter." And we're like, I had said something about I care about who's living here now, because someone's living here and it wasn't a good situation. And we said, we want to be cognizant of their situation, and we want to help them, and we care about them. We don't want to just boot them out. So that was, I think, really, looking back, they said, we liked that you cared. We liked that we wanted to give you a chance. And so, we were the highest bid anyway. So they can say all they want. We paid the most for it. But they gave it to us. We're establishing a relationship with them. We just looked at another one yesterday. Actually, we decided not to make an offer on it, but we're establishing relationships. So for this one, we found it from a wholesaler.
So what was the end purchase price?
$570.
$570.
Yeah.
All right.
$575. Sorry.
$575.
Yeah, they bought it for $540, and then we bought it from them for $575.
What were comps in this particular area?
Well, that was tricky for us because they do have other ranch plans, and that's what you really have to compare it to. So there was a ranch that had sold for $735, the most recent ranch, but it didn't have a finished basement, and it was in very good condition, but it was somewhat dated, mostly dated. And so we thought, okay, that's a good comp. We were hoping to originally get to $760 to $780, and we were going to think about just painting the cabinets and doing some, maybe keeping some of the original tile, just doing some minimal kinds of in and out, quick and easy flip. And then we thought, well, wait, let's really try, and I think it's going to sit on the market a little bit longer if we do that, and it's not going to appeal to as many people. And so let's try and get to a little bit higher ARV, put a little bit more money into the rehab. So we decided to go to 80, or 85
for the rehab.
For the rehab,
yeah,
85.
It was 85,
and ended up a little higher than that. But we ended up getting to the higher ARV and listed it at 820, and ended up getting an offer that was 25 over that. We ended up getting 6 offers altogether. So I think that we made the right choice in putting a little bit more money into the rehab and doing it so it's going to appeal to a bigger buyer pool.
Looking back, it seems like it was the right decision, but in it, we were like, oh man, are we doing the right thing?
It felt like
are we spending too much? Yeah. Are we going to get what we need? So it worked in our favor, but...
So when you're in that situation and you're questioning yourself, it's how do you sort of think through those things? Do you have somebody that you're sort of bouncing ideas off of? Where are you getting the information to make an informed decision like that?
Well, I have the real estate experience.
Yes.
So I was providing, just based upon what I know and working with a lot of buyers, what they will like. And I thought, if we're going to like it, then other people are going to like it. And we just need to go with a little bit with our gut. It's a little bit of a risk, in a way, but I felt like it was a calculated risk, and we would probably get to where we wanted to be, but we weren't 100% sure. I mean, there's no guarantees, right? So we kind of just both agreed that, that was probably the direction that we wanted to go, and went ahead and
we just made
the decision. Yeah.
So you went in for 85. As your first deal, obviously there's always the question of finding your team. Did you manage the project yourself? Did you hire a GC? What was that experience like? How did you find them?
I just have to give Jerry Norton a little plug here. Okay. So I just finished his fast track 1-year program, and so I had a mentor, and I continually asked him, like, what should we do? And and he was always about getting a GC. A good GC will save you time and money, and a good GC will be worth their weight. And we just felt like with our first one that we were going to go for a GC. So we hired a GC, and that was, but we ended up managing the project ourselves because he wasn't the best with some of the quality. So we kind of in the beginning were more hands off, and we let him do what he needed to do, and it was going really well. And then I think the finishing touches, we were picky about things, and so we just had him redo a lot of stuff because we wanted it. We would not want to have a house that looked like this. We would want it to be done well, and that's what we were paying for. So, well,
do you mind sort of sharing what happened there that you weren't quite happy with the quality of work? What were some of the?
I think it was just the skilled labor. As we've talked about it over and over again. There
was some plumbing issues. Hot and cold were switched.
Oh, you want specific things
there was some things with the trim, some things with the drywall that just weren't right. I mean, they were okay, but we're no, this is not. So we're trying to get to a higher ARV. We need to have it done well, and so we just had to put blue tape. We had to do it around with blue tape.
I thought they were going to take the blue tape away from us at one point. They were
kept hide the blue tape from us. And we kept bringing more blue tape and putting it on the wall and putting it on the trim and saying, oh, this is not right. You need to redo this. You need to just touch this up. Just little things.
There were some...
Because we're both sort of perfectionists.
We are. I mean, the steps, there was LPV on the steps, but the stair nose piece didn't cover all the way around it, and so they were just gonna stain the rest of the wood to match it, and we're that's not gonna work. But we were getting towards the end, and we found 3 different options, but it was gonna be too timely and costly, so we're just put carpet on it. So they did. Then they took that off and they put carpet on. We had I think one of the things that we did in the beginning, it was kind of rushed to get started. So we had an initial scope of work. We had contractors that came in, they all gave us a bid. And then based on the contractors and what we wanted to do, we kind of upgraded the scope a little bit. And then when we hired the contractor, we didn't go over that new scope. I mean, we gave it to him. He signed a contract stating that he was going to do all of these things. But there were some bigger things that he didn't do that we had to negotiate on, with change orders later. So looking back, we should have walked the house with him and said, this is, I know that you've read it, but let's go through it again. And we just didn't do that. We're just get started. Start doing the demo.
Looking at your scope of work, it was incredibly detailed. And I love the fact that you did change orders, because a lot of investors, my father is a GC, and he even doesn't do change orders sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it comes back to hurt people on both sides of the equation. Right. So, I mean, I applaud you for taking the time and the attention to detail to doing that.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We had a change order log. I like to do those things. I like to make sure keeping track of everything.
She's also very detailed with the paperwork.
I do that part of it. Yeah. So we complement each other really well, because Angela, she fixed the staging, and she's really good at picking out what goes together. And I have good taste, but she has better taste. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but just knows how everything flows, where I'm more okay, this wall is not straight, that needs to be fixed over here, more of the structural things I have more of an eye for. So it is and we poor contractor. I mean, he was a nice guy. I really like him personally, but we were you realize that you're getting this the range of pickiness here from one end to another, because we're both picky about different things. But I think it shows, because I think it turned out really well because we were picky. And we also weren't afraid to get our hands dirty. Like we were scrubbing.
We did work really hard, even though that wasn't our intention to do the hard work. We came in and we did a lot of the cleaning, a lot of detail cleaning the windows, cleaning the window wells, all of that.
Well, we cleaned everything.
Stuff.
We did all the cleaning. We didn't hire a cleaner. I need a cleaner.
I can help you with that, actually. But I want to go back to the fact that you guys partnered with each other. Mm-hmm. I continue to reinforce this. I think, what is it, the African proverb that says you can go further together. I really impress upon investors of finding partner and joint venture opportunities, but specifically, how did the two of you find each other?
I found Angela on Bigger Pockets.
Okay.
Because when I started investing, I was like, I don't know anything. I need to learn as much as I can. That was one of the resources that kept coming up, like whenever I asked a question. So I joined it. Well, I don't think I actually paid a membership, but I saw that I looked for, other investors in Colorado, specifically female investors, because I wanted to invest with a female, and I saw that Angela was a realtor, and I said, I'm going to reach out to her. So I sent her a voice message. She called me back, and then we just started looking for properties, and that took 9 months before we found something. But we kind of like got to know each other by taking that time, and we went to some ICOR meetings together, and we just spent a lot of time analyzing properties, and so we it's not like we just went from like day one into a contract. I mean, we did get to know each other a little bit, and I just went with my gut. I'm good at reading people, and I was like, you kind of jump into it, but you go with your gut. And I know like partnerships can be iffy. You are taking a chance, but I mean, it's a calculated chance. And actually, my mentor through the Jerry Norton program, I asked him, I said, do you think I should, have a partner with the first flip? And he said, I absolutely think you should. It's a good way to reduce the risk. And especially if you're partnering with a realtor, they know the market. And that can't be understated. The realtor part of Angela's knowledge is huge. When we went to ask for a lender, having 16, 17 years of experience as a realtor, they were like, okay, you've had, you're not as risky as just someone who just comes off the street. So I think, you want to bring value. Hopefully I was able to bring value as well.
You're asking now.
Well, we are the hardest workers. Like I am a hard worker. I was born in Nebraska. I'm a hard worker. I mean, I wasn't in the cornfields at all, but like my dad was a GC as well. So I was I didn't like run the business or anything, but I've been around it and I have always liked it. So I think, I don't know. We're smart and resourceful. I had taken the Jerry Norton class, so I had some information that way and resources and contracts. And like when we bought this one, we had to buy it through an LLC just because we didn't want to do a double close, and it was going to be that way, right? Mm-hmm. And so the Jerry Norton program had all of the videos and the contracts. And we used it. That's what we used. That's what we sent to the lender. And that's what we used with the wholesalers, because I was like, I've got the contracts, so I felt like I was contributing that way as well.
She did. She contributed, all of the spreadsheets, the contracts, all of those documents that I didn't have, because I have like the Colorado contracts are different, somewhat different than, you're going to use as an investor. And I didn't have like the contractor's contracts. So she contributed all that, and she's really good with the numbers and keeping us on budget. Because if it was up to me, I'd be like, oh, we need to get this, we need to get that. And she's like, nope, that's not in the budget.
Yeah.
So I think we balanced each other out really well.
It was.
So if hindsight were 2020,
yes,
what would you do the same and what would you do different?
Well, I would definitely partner with Sarah. Again,
yes.
I think that was a good decision. And I think it is great to have a partner, to find a partner either through ICOR or, going to other investor meetings or however, you can do that, because it really is helpful, especially when you're getting started, to have that person that you can bounce ideas off of, and just to take up some of the responsibilities and some of the risks, and share in that. But what I would do different is probably ask more questions of the contractor. And next time I definitely want to know, we just asked if they had a licensed plumber and a licensed electrician on their team. And he said, yes, we do use a licensed person. And I don't think that in both cases, I don't think they used a licensed person. And we didn't verify that. And next time I think I would want to verify, based upon this experience, that we have someone that's licensed to do those things. So it's done right the first time and we're not having to correct it afterwards like we're doing on the inspection items now. That's one of the biggest things.
Well, because it was a new GC, so I think when you're working with a new GC or anyone new with this type of property, I think we just had to be we should have been more hands-on in the beginning. Like we should have just, in the end, we were here every day because we were like, oh no, we had
how do y'all find the GCs?
So I looked on the Contractors of Colorado Facebook site, and so I joined all those groups, all of them, as many as I could, and I had posted something about, we need a contractor who's trustworthy, reliable, and can start tomorrow. And I've got some people that are like, yeah, right. Or you're going to find that. But I had a huge response. So I kind of weeded through those. And then I made a final list of like 20, and then we divided and conquered. We each took 10. We had questions that we asked them on the phone first, and then we just decided based on those conversations to bring them in. And then we gave them the scope of work. They did a walkthrough. They gave us references. I feel like we did our due diligence for what we had time to do. And again, we didn't have the worst relationship with them because we liked them. We liked them, but it's just our standards for what we wanted to have done. Well, a licensed plumber and a licensed electrician is really not like a high standard when you're talking about some of this work. That is something, and in our contract it does say that. So I may be sending them the bill. We'll see if it gets paid or not. I will send it to them because it's just part of business. So yeah, I think being hands-on a little bit more with a contractor, and networking, continuing to network to find a contractor. Because we will have a different contractor with the next one. There was just too many issues with this one.
So there were several times that I hear you talk about just listening to your gut. And I know that a lot of investors, specifically getting started, is they never have enough information. But when you're in it, knees deep, you got to run. And so how do you sort of mitigate that risk, but feel confident in your decision moving forward?
Like buying
just with every decision that you make.
I just keep moving forward. Just make a decision, because I think that we were making decisions. We were going and we were making offers on properties and stuff, but we weren't getting anything under contract because we didn't want to cut ourselves too short, because we were waiting for the right one, but maybe we waited too long. Like maybe we should have talked to we spent a lot of time on market, and I feel like off market is the way to go. And we did marketing on our own. We made flyers. We went door knocking. We did all the stuff in the beginning. It's just how much time do you have to do all of those things and keep it going? So, I think don't get stuck in a rut where you're doing the same thing and not getting any results. Like keep trying different avenues until something works. The networking is huge. The mentorship I thought was big for me. But I think we were conservative, so having a partner helps you to make that leap. And that's probably the biggest thing that we both got out of that is on our own, it probably would have taken even longer. So I think. And
during the whole process with the contractor, we just had to keep moving forward and making decisions. And sometimes I felt like a little too quick, like, well, we have to pick out this now. Like, I wanted to spend a little more time picking that out, but we have to make a decision. We have to just go with it and, move forward. And otherwise you're just going to get backed up and you're not going to get the project done on time. And so in order for everything just to keep flowing, we just made the decisions. We had to compromise on some things. We agreed on most things, but there's a few things we had to make compromises on. And you know, you just work with, you know, what you can. And I think that we worked together well, and we just made good decisions. And
there may have been
overall,
some times when Angela was pulling her hair out because of me. I'm not sure, you know, you never know on the other side of the phone what's going on, but
no.
But you have to take a risk. You have to take a risk. You have to you just have to take a risk. And people will lend you money. They would like to lend you money because they make money.
Well, that's another piece of it. The lender, I think they felt more comfortable having two people taking the risk, and we're putting in a share of our own, you know, finances. Like we're both contributing to that. So it's less risk for them overall too.
So if somebody were sitting in your seat, now that you have one deal under your belt, say 6 months or a year ago, what sage advice would you impart upon them?
Just take a leap. I mean, be conservative. Like, don't go over, you know, make sure that your numbers are good. Like with your ARV, do the research and make sure you're going to get the ARV that you think you're going to get. And as long as the numbers work, just take a leap, take a chance.
And I would say invest in a mentorship if you can, whether it's someone that you know personally, a resource like ICOR, Jerry Norton's program. I feel like I don't know how many times I emailed. I still am able to talk to him too. I mean, I paid for a year membership, but and that cost me money. So I had to risk like taking money out of my retirement to see if this was going to work. But I did it. I mean, because that's what you have to do in order to move forward. But I think a mentorship really helped me. Someone he's in Idaho, but he lived in Colorado, and he's done over 450 flips. So he offered very good advice, and it made me feel confident in making decisions. So I thought that investing in a mentorship, however you can, I mean, it should be the right person. It's just not anyone, but that helps me with my confidence because I can overthink things.
I think, I mean, from an ICOR standpoint, there's oftentimes I think mentorships get a bad rap, but the difference is the difference between education is action. And the rest just becomes entertainment.
Right.
And there's a lot of real estate entertainment out there that people aren't really doing anything with. And it's just like, you've got to do something. You've got to take action.
Right. Yeah, we took action. Like, remember when we first started looking for a place, and we did a door hanger because I have some design skills, and we did that. We put cash on one side and we'll sell your house with a realtor on the other side. So you could do both. You could really send it to anyone, but we got a foreclosure list and we started knocking on the doors. We did not like that. The response we were getting, it was tough to door knock.
The door slammed in our face many times.
And we were, that was tough. So I don't know, you got to keep trying.
But I think it's like a little bit of analysis paralysis. Like that was me. I was overanalyzing every single thing, and and then I'd be like, oh, I'm not ready to do this, but really I was ready to do it. It's just, you have to do so much analysis of the numbers, but then don't overdo it to where you're going to paralyze yourself.
It's like if you want to have kids, you're not going to ever be ready. You just do it, and then you're ready in the moment. It's the same thing with real estate.
Is a really good analogy.
Now, like the next one we do, I'm going to forget about all the hardships here, just like you forget about giving birth, right? It's going to be like, it's painful at the time, and now they're so cute, and everything's done, and like they're, until they're a teenager, which I have 3 of, so this is another story. But like when they're little, they're, no, I'm just kidding. But yes, so I think... It's all about like taking a risk, taking a calculated risk. I mean, you don't have to like risk all of your savings, and then, it needs to be calculated. It's where the mentorship comes in.
So what are you doing to celebrate?
Well, we were going to go out to dinner, pop a bottle of wine, champagne.
Nice.
Champagne or wine.
So I almost brought one to this, but I ran out of the house too quickly. So we'll do it. We'll schedule it. So it's not,
Yeah.
So we don't mess up anything here.
All right. Well, again, congratulations. Why don't we just go take a look at the house?
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.